Like to call the Muhlenberg Township Board of Commissioners meeting for Monday, July 20th, 2026 to order. All please rise for a pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Jim, no more, so take a minute.
Nope. Well, that,
All right, just for the public, there was an executive session tonight to discuss various personnel matters and any items of potential litigation. Moving on, well, first public presentation, we have folks here from the Muhlenberg Education Foundation. So you'd like to come up and be our first guest?
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Dr. Joe Yarwood. I'm retired superintendent and president of the Muhlenberg School District Foundation. Dolores Johnson is with me tonight, and she's going to say a few words. We're here to thank you, commissioners, chief of police, for all of your help in getting our work done this year. A friend of ours passed away this spring, Rick Hoffmaster. The school approached us about setting up an award in his name, and I want to thank you for getting it out to all of the folks in the township so that we could get contributions. I'm pleased to announce that at this year's graduation, the foundation gave a $500 reward to a student, Muhlenberg senior, at the Muhlenberg CTC. We plan to do the same amount in $500 increments in 2027 and 2028. Again, without your help in getting the word out, we wouldn't have been able to do that, and we look forward to getting further contributions. Tonight, I'd like to introduce Mrs. Dolores Johnson. She handles the Muhlenberg Foundation's interaction with the Harlem Wizards. And that's why we're here to also say thank you tonight.
Thank you, Dr. Darwin.
Yes, I am Dolores Johnson, usually Dee Johnson. I just want to also say thank you for sending some of your police to the school, just so we would have them on hand. With a big crowd of people, you never know what to expect. And they were there early and very diligent about what they were doing. Thank you for supporting us in that endeavor. It's been a good fundraiser for us. We did it 2 years ago, and we did it now in April this year. And I think we're looking at 28 to do it again. So hopefully we can continue that relationship with you to make a good presentation for that. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
All right, at this time, I'm going to turn the meeting over to our solicitor, Ms. Frankowski.
All right, thank you. This was the time and place advertised for a public hearing regarding the vacation of Myrtle Avenue, which is an open street in the township. The request for the vacation of Myrtle Avenue was made on behalf of the property owner, Rolando Vasquez, by his attorney, Steve Price. Attorney Price, I see you're here tonight. Would you like to enter your appearance for the record?
Sure. Stephen, S-T-E-P-H-E-N, Price, P-R-I-C-E, Mogul, Spidell, Bob and Kirshner, 520 Walnut Street, Reading, PA, 19601.
Thank you. I'm just gonna introduce some exhibits for the record. Attorney Price, I think you have all of these. If you don't, I'd be happy to share them with you. Township exhibit 1 is going to be the letter dated June 25th of 2026 from Attorney Price on behalf of the property owner requesting the vacation of Myrtle Avenue. Township exhibit 2 is going to be the proof of publication of the notice of the street vacation hearing. The publication did occur in the Reading Eagle on July 5th of 2026 and July 12th of 2026. Township exhibit 3 is going to be an affidavit of mailing of the notice of the street vacation hearing to the affected property owners, which would be all the property owners that abut Myrtle Avenue. Mr. Price, do you have any objections to any of those exhibits being entered of record?
I do not.
Thank you.
That'd be silly to do so.
It would be. All right, I'm gonna turn the meeting over now to Attorney Price to fill the board in on his request, and provide any information or answer any questions that the board may have.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Again, Steve Price. I'm here on behalf of Mr. Vasquez, who's seated there in the maroon shirt. Pretty simple proposal here. Myrtle Street is a paper street that's been there since Christ was a corporal, I think, and it goes from the paved portion that intersects with this unopened portion, goes back into a wooded area. If you go back, I'm gonna just guesstimate it, maybe 75, 85 feet. There was a home on the left side that was not in great shape and came down. Mr. Vasquez purchased the property. He wants to build a new home there and reside there, correct, Mr. Vasquez? And he started some work and township officials came out and said, hey, this is an unopened street, you gotta take care of this issue. So I noticed when I went out there on site, there was some surveying stakes that had been placed by, I believe, neighboring property owners. I had the benefit of talking to a neighbor who lived, I'm gonna say, up the hill. They have a fence there. There's a man and woman who come home from breakfast, and we talked and I explained it to them, and they had lived there for a long time. It's my understanding that nobody has used that unopened portion of Myrtle Street, Myrtle Avenue, other than Mr. Vasquez to get back there and do some work and cut grass. And the predecessor in title who lived there before she passed away, she used it. I don't know if she had a predecessor in title before that. I looked at the properties, I'm gonna say below the grade. They don't appear to have any outbuildings that were accessed by that Myrtle Avenue. So we're asking that it be taken off your topo and allow Mr. Vasquez to stone it so that he can get access and plow it. Obviously, it's not gonna intrude upon his neighbors. It would also solve an issue going forward in the future. I don't know if it would ever happen, but if somebody wanted to buy that chunk of undeveloped land back there, they would potentially, because it would run all the way through, they'd potentially have the right to go through there. You might have another development back there, but this way, Mr. Vasquez would have access. It shouldn't impede his neighbors' use of their properties, and he'll maintain the property. Obviously, I appreciate your consideration. I'll be answering questions if you have them.
Does anyone from the board have any questions?
Yeah, I guess a couple of questions. One is, I'm used, as being a planning commission member, I'm used to road vacancy requests also coming to the planning commission to make a recommendation to the board of commissioners. Is that something that's not required in this particular case?
It's not required, they're a recommending body, so it's not required that they make a recommendation, but it certainly could have came before them. And have been presented for a recommendation or not, I'm not sure if they got that information. And I'm hearing Joe say no.
No other question, Mr. Price, you mentioned, I don't know if there are other lots up there that are undeveloped this time that would be served by this Myrtle Avenue or?
As far as I can tell, it's only this property that would have access in it. And it obviously was stoned at some point because I could see that type of material down there, but it's almost like a farm access at this point. It needs to be upgraded. I don't think anybody, if you go to the end of it, it's all woods. Nobody's cut through there unless it was the Lenape Indians.
There's a trail there,
Right, yeah, I saw that, yeah.
it goes back to the pond with the spring papers.
Are there other properties that are accessible only through this?
No. No, it's not
Any
that I can see.
other property up there has access via another?
Oh, the neighbors, I'll say up the hill and below the hill, below the hill, they had some survey stakes out. Above the hill, I met the couple that were coming home. They are, I think it's a wooden fence there. They don't access it off this unopened street. It appears the people below where the survey stakes were, there was 2 homes there, nicely landscaped. Any of their outbuildings don't look like they're accessed by this. There's no ruts in the grass or anything. It didn't look to me that anybody was using that street.
Excuse me.
I'm sorry, ma'am. is someone else speaking?
Yes, I'm,
Okay, you're gonna get a chance to speak in
I was
public.
answering this question.
That's fine, and you can speak during the public portion, but we wanna keep this clean for the record. So when you do speak, you can come up, state your name and address, and then give whatever information you have.
Just from my visual, I did not see any tire tracks going into the lower portion, and the upper portion was wooded trees and I think a wooden fence. I don't see that anybody's accessing it from there.
Have you had conversations with all of the neighbors about their access, or
No,
this is just your visual inspection of?
I spoke with the woman who lives above this road where the wooden fence is. And I spoke with her for a couple minutes today. Well, you came out for the site visit as well. I spoke with her that day and she understood what I was proposing. And I did not see any of the neighbors below out in their yards. And I didn't feel it's my place to knock on their doors.
Do you know if your client spoke to the other neighbors?
I believe he may have, but I don't believe, Mr. Vasquez, did you speak with any of the neighbors?
Can
Okay.
we,
Yeah,
can we swear him in if he's gonna testify?
you have to be sworn in by the still I'm saying.
Please your right hand.
How are you?
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes. Speak up and give your full name and address.
So my name is Rolando Vasquez. How are you, everybody? I didn't spoke to the neighbors about it because we didn't have any issue at the beginning. Then we had septic tank at the back, and the issue starts when the township, they asked me to do a sewer. So in order to do the sewer, we couldn't do it through the neighbors because we don't have a degree to it, so we have to go through the driveway. So that was the whole issue.
Yes.
And that I did explain them about the plans and the survey that we have done for the properties, so they know about it.
Right, and just for the record, none of the deeds, typically, a lot of times in Pennsylvania, typically the deeds from neighboring properties take to the middle of the road. So if the road goes away, those neighboring properties take to the middle of the road. None of the deeds that I've searched up there, the neighboring properties take to the middle of the deed. So this is truly a vacant avenue or street.
Does anyone from the board have any further questions based on that testimony? Okay, do you have anything else?
I don't.
Chris?
I don't, if you needed additional statements, I mean, Butch Hofford did the survey for Mr. Vasquez, he could have been here, but I think it was pretty self-explanatory, and I think from my site visit, I don't think we needed to pay his hefty fees.
All right, at this point, I will see if anyone from the public has any comments.
Sure. Thank you, thank you.
The
for
application.
your help.
Ma'am?
Hi, my name's Tammy Kemmer. I do own the properties at 4608 Wenzel Avenue and 8985 Myrtle Avenue. Myrtle Avenue, the 8985 is the separately deeded parcel of land where we have a pole building. We do use Myrtle Avenue to go back to our pole building. We do not have the deeds combined. They are separately taxed, and that is our only accessible way to get to that property should we decide to sell that parcel of land. So it would impede our ability to access that.
Well, if I may, ma'am, I didn't have the benefit of meeting you before, but nice to meet you. If the commissioners were to grant this and he would stone it, we could have an agreement between you and, is that your husband? Or- I mean-
No, it's the money.
Oh, okay. Okay, all right, we're not gonna get into a fight here. Right, we could enter into some type of agreement that would meet the township's needs and your needs and Mr. Vasquez's needs, that you would have access to your building and it would not impede.
That is something I would have to talk to my council as
Sure.
far as.
Can I ask who your counselor is?
I've not assigned anybody yet. I wanted to see how this meeting was gonna go forward.
Yeah, I just didn't want to run up everybody's costs and have quiet titles and all that other stuff.
Sure.
Yeah, so typically, in order to vacate the street, the township would need to have this hearing and then enact an ordinance vacating the street. Part of the ordinance will indicate that once the street is officially vacated, title would revert back to the abutting property owners. So it's not as though Mr. Vasco would own the street. You'd own the portion that, of your property that abuts the street halfway through it. So you would still need an access easement agreement to access the property, and I think it would be beneficial if that was on title to all of your properties. And I think Butch Offer could probably, write legal descriptions to make sure that your deeds are recorded with those new descriptions.
We would do a shared driveway agreement that could be recorded and.
Yeah, and if the board decides to vacate the street, that's up to you guys. We're not gonna take part in that. That's completely,
Yeah, that presents other questions about tax liability and also easements against the front property owners for granting access to my property through their properties.
Right, so that would, that's something that you'd have to talk to your
Correct.
council about,
Correct.
and work that out.
But it does cause an undue financial burden to vacate the property, vacate the street.
Well, if it's vacated, then you and Mr. Vasquez control it, and so we can work it out, and I'll do the heavy lifting, so it won't cost you.
There's other property owners too that would be involved, so.
Okay,
Okay,
thank
thank
you
you.
for that information. Is there anyone else who wants to make public comment on this application? All right, let the record reflect that there was none. And at this point, the board, can recess privately to deliberate. You can take your time and we can address it at the next meeting, because that's when the ordinance would need to be enacted, because we have to advertise for that to occur.
Yeah, I think we need a little more information, just with the residents' concern and, Mr. Price offering to help. So, I wasn't aware of the pole building in the back, to be honest with you. I know where you're at now. So if that's okay with the board, if we can discuss, probably, because we usually do have this come through the planning process. Just to ensure we're doing everything that's appropriate for the entire neighborhood. We would like to do that, is that okay?
That's fine, yeah, we can discuss it and then we'll issue, an opinion at the August meeting.
Okay,
Thank you very much for your consideration.
thank you.
And at that point, the hearing is concluded and we can move on to a regular agenda.
Gotcha.
Bye.
Yeah. Yeah, we got, okay, there's a lot more questions than us. I was on the building.
Actually, I knew that there was a record, not that I was access issues.
All right, yeah, so we need some more.
Yeah,
All right.
we can get it.
Thank you. All right, I think most folks are signed up for that, particularly, but we do, I think, I'm sorry if I missed anyone. Mr. Norton, I think, is here. If I miss anyone, we'll get him at the end. Rick, if, would like to come up?
Start out very positive here, chief. Everybody, what you guys have been doing, starting to work at the stop sign issues, but still got problems. Quick scenario, July 3rd, I rode 250 miles on my motorcycle, Philadelphia Turnpike, Schuylkill Expressway, for anybody who's familiar with it, no issues. Come back into town, almost got hit 3 times on River Road. Kelly's Lock. As you know, we had a river problem again, coming out of there. Liza's Bridge and Tuckerton Road. Gotta do more, and I don't know what else to do. I'll sit in my driveway again, people 50 miles an hour. Yeah. That's what I get, as they stare at me. Now, the police were there a couple times, I know, and I know they got at least one person, I don't know how many they got. But I'm sorry, it's just not enough. And I'm not gonna stop riding my motorcycle because people run stop signs. But do we need, I touched on this before, do we need to get the state police with the river problem? Do we need ice? Just a thought. Kelly's Lock, the dam, and Jim Dietrich Park, 4th of July, over 200 cars. Park wherever they want. I saw not one tow truck, no police. I saw the Muhlenberg Township, the woman who drives around. I talked to her a little bit. She said everybody's aware. Nothing was done.
Well, that's not true, but.
Well, nothing that I saw, but I go down the river and I get harassed. What do? I'm outnumbered 50-1, can't do anything. That's fair to me.
In what way are you being harassed?
But when I float by those islands where supposedly they can't be touched because they're in the water.
Correct, not by us, correct.
Right, now also at boat ramps, if I'm not mistaken, it's no swimming, nothing within 50 feet of the boat ramps. Barbecues going, alcohol going. Signs are clear as day. If I go down there and do that, what's gonna happen to me? I'm gonna get a citation, right? If I'm drinking, swimming at the boat ramp,
If we find you, yes.
but can't we have more police presence like we, I just don't want this to go back like it did a couple of years ago, where it was a nightmare, and we all know it. Because you guys were the ones that cleaned up. It's just gonna be a problem. But like I said, it's not fair to me that I get harassed going down the river, my river too. So it's like, and like I said, you guys are, what is being done, at least at my intersection, is starting to work. I do get people waving back to me because I don't yell anymore, I just wave. Now people are slowing down and waving back, but it's getting bad. Now, I don't want to be that constant complainer here, but every time I do come in and say something, something does get done. And as we see, nobody else here for stop sign issues, right? People are worried about a guy fixing up the property, and then they all leave. Just don't know what to do anymore. So I don't yell and just sit on my chair in the driveway and watch.
So I know, we know that this has been an ongoing topic. To have somebody say that we're not doing anything, obviously you're not everywhere in the township,
Oh, no.
you're not seeing every intersection, so, at any given point, we have officers at multiple locations in the township. We've been pretty heavy over in that area. Which I can tell you that I saw, an officer had a car stopped, Commissioner Merkel saw it, my wife saw at least 2. You've seen at least 1, so that's at least 5 stops that we made just in that area.
That's what I said, it is working.
And we're trying, and we've added painted stop notification on the roads. We put up the red, reflectors on numerous poles under stop signs in numerous locations. It's a huge problem. And we continue to address it as best we can. Our officers have a lot of duty that they're performing, and there's a lot of calls. Outside the city of Reading, our department is the busiest in the county. So we are attempting to stay on top of this as best we can. We can't keep surveillance on every single vehicle that comes through the township. Believe me, I'd love to. And to your point, I pulled up to a stop sign on Danner to make the left on Tuckerton. And I had a guy come screaming westbound on Tuckerton, who finally spotted my truck and decided he probably didn't want to get hit, so he went to a screeching stop. And I made the slowest left turn I've ever made in my entire life to still draw the point that you do need to stop. But we don't want to see residents get confrontational. And we don't want to see get confrontational at the river. And, we've had conversations with departments that border us that share the river, to try to work in tandem with them. I think the problem is better than it had been, and we continue to stay on top of it. Are we gonna be able to clean it up 100%? Probably not. We can move somebody out of the area, and I'm sure in a couple of weeks, they're gonna move right back in. But we are doing the best we can. And I'm glad that you started on a positive note. And so we're aware of the problem. Chief and I talk about it, Jim and I talk about it, the other commissioners talk about it, other neighbors are phoning into, because it is a hot topic and we are on top of it the best we can be. But, short of hiring enough officers to put at every single intersection in this township, I'm running out of ideas too, but we are looking at different means to try to control the entire township. So I appreciate that you come. I appreciate, that you've seen improvement. I appreciate that you tell us we still have a ways to go, and we recognize that. All you need to do is pick up the paper and read about accidents and issues everywhere in the county. So we're not alone, I know Chief Hoover attends meetings with his counterparts in the county, and I know that they talk about it, and they're all very frustrated too. So, we are doing the very, very best that we possibly can, but it's gonna take time. It's a mindset that people have to recognize that, they have to follow ordinances and rules when they're driving. And unfortunately, we're just not reaching all those people. And maybe a broader conversation with our friends in Harrisburg, maybe it's something that mandates, every 5 years you go back and get your driver's license tested. You do it again, but I don't know that it's gonna stop the issue because I know there are plenty of drivers out there that are driving without insurance and without licenses. So again, we're on top of it, so I thank you for coming. And
Well, it's just the issue that too, it got worse once the weather warmed up.
yeah,
I mean,
so has every other call.
yeah, but it's like I said,
Yeah.
I can't even go down the river by myself. I mean, if it's 95 degrees and I go down past where that little parking lot is closed down at Liza's Bridge, I'm taking my life in my hands.
And that's why I'm saying maybe we need to have a conversation with our friends in Harrisburg to say, look, if you're not gonna let us patrol this, then, can you supply resources to help us do that? But, we have to have those kind of conversations, and I'm sure that we can arrange a meeting, and again, even if they agree to something like that, the local representatives may agree to that, but, we need to convince an entire state that this needs to change, so.
Well, do I need to go up the political chain here, or do
I will let you know.
or do I stop here?
No, you can complain to them, that our local officers only have so much jurisdiction. Here's an issue that you're facing. And they help. I mean, the more people that talk, the better. it is. I will always tell you to go.
I just-
have that
I
conversation.
didn't want to go over everybody's head without at least talking about it first.
No, I appreciate, it's not going over our head. I
Well,
mean, we're doing what we can.
yeah, but it starts here, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but I think our officers are doing everything they can, and our park attendants. And I know that our park attendants, they can be intimidated too. They're one person,
Wow.
they're not carrying weapons. And even if you were carrying a weapon, I understand, there's a lot of people down there. Okay, there's an issue, you're only carrying so many rats.
I don't know if any,
So
I
we
have,
don't-
but yeah,
And we certainly don't want it to escalate to that kind of a point. So
that's,
I'll tell you what, I will reach out to our local representatives in Harrisburg, we'll have a conversation and, see what else we need to do from there.
Fair
I'll go
enough.
back and let you know.
anyway, Chief, I appreciate everything, the manpower that you're putting, at least in my intersection, because it is helping, but you got those 4 or 5 people still, I mean, not 35 miles an hour, you're not talking 50 miles an hour. Even faster. I had the same problem at Tuckerton and Danner last Friday that you had, but I was halfway out the street. Kid came up doing 50, 60 miles an hour. And I know you can't be everywhere, but, all right, thanks for listening.
Thank you. All right, and just for the record, Rick, we are at the highest level of manpower we've ever been in the 20 years I've been here, and I know Chief, we're still trying to get more. But it's not too easy to find officers anymore. We're taking over, in June, we took over 1,800 calls, over 100 motor vehicle accidents, which I know is time consuming, correct? More disorderlies and frauds and larceny, things that are just elevated this time of year. And those are things that take up a lot of time with a limited amount of officers. But Commissioner Lurch's point is, we continue to evaluate staffing. It's just, sometimes it's hard to legislate people's bad behavior. And that's what, we can make all the laws we want in the world and all the ordinances, but if people don't start comply with being a neighbor, I don't think we could ever legislate that, right? But we're gonna.
And I always said that, you guys, they can't be in 20 places at once.
Sure.
I get it.
We appreciate the feedback. Betsy, would you like to say something or you just signed in?
I'm sorry, I just signed in.
Okay, sure.
Yes.
Okay. All right, anyone else wish to speak under the public portion? All right, seeing none, we'll move on to the consent agenda. I need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
No motion.
I'll second. Any questions or comments?
I just want to make a couple of comments on, if you're looking over the reports, from our various committees and boards and things. I did see, a note that, library visitation has been trending upward. I think that's fantastic. I also want to let our codes department know that I received a couple of personal notifications from neighbors that, they had filed some various complaints and codes has been out on top of things very quickly. I know the codes has been very busy. To your point, Rick, the weather gets nice, so number of police calls go up, number of codes violations, and calls go up, so we've been on top of those things. In the police report, our traffic detail, issues have been up. But we've been, attending to that as much as possible. I saw that we had an interaction with the young woman who won the gold medal in swimming at the Special Olympics. I think that's fantastic. Chief, I know you were involved in the president's motorcade, to a degree, at the command center, so thank you for that. Yeah, that's all I have, but, busy couple of weeks.
The only other thing to add to that, Commissioner Lynch just brought a subject because my phone was ringing off the hook during the president's motorcade. The lack of getting out of my area of the town on that side is just when something like that happens, there's no way out. So if we would have really truly had an incident, like there would have been a significant impact to emergency services getting over there, so. I'll approach our state friends again. I know PennDOT said no, but just at least now, because all those homes, Jim Dietrich Park, you have something like that happen. If we really have a catastrophic event, I think emergency services are gonna have a hell of a time getting people evacuated out appropriately. It's not just ease of use of the gas mileage for me, which could help, to be honest, but when we were doing that, I was like, what do we do? What if something happened and we needed to get emergency services there? So I thought it was an excellent point. I know we were denied once, and we'll try again, Jim, but that was a perfect example why we should have some sort, we have property there, at least get it out, even if we don't have it in. So anyway, I digress, but I'm going to soapbox. Thank you. Roll call vote, please. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those any? Ayes have been. Any unfinished business?
That was being roll call, that was my question.
Do the roll call.
You didn't need one.
I know.
I got all worked up about that. Yeah. All right, new business, motion to approve payment of bills presented by the Director of Finance and Customer Service. So,
Second.
any questions or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those if any, the ayes have it, so ordered. Motion to accept the resignation of firefighter Lieutenant.
Motion. I'll second.
Any questions or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those if any, ayes have it, so ordered. Motion to approve the stipulation and order regarding the tax assessment appeal of Burks 222.
Moved.
Second.
Questions or comments?
Jim, could you just enlighten a little more? Yeah, I've read this like 3 times and it's just not.
Burke's 222 is the warehouse behind Walmart that's split between online and Muhlenberg. And they filed for a tax appeal. At this point, it seems like many years ago. And there was back and forth between all of the solicitors and all of the different governing bodies, and ultimately it went in front of the courts, and the courts said, here's your program. Really, if you look at the pay schedule, it's a LERTA program. Where they're paying incrementally more taxes over the course of the next 10 years to get them back up to the threshold where they were supposed to be. Yeah, this is the end result of a tax appeal that was disputed.
So what exactly are we approving here?
The court's order, that includes the payment schedule, the repayment schedule, and percentage of the taxes over the 10-year period.
Okay.
Again, it mirrors alerta. I said to Kelsey when she sent it, this mirrors alerta, tax credit.
Yeah, and there were appraisals done by both parties, so this was sort of an agreement, and the appraisal that was used ended up being honest. The number, so the number is good.
Okay.
But they already were accepted into the LERTA program from the beginning, so there's no undoing that, unfortunately.
All right, thank you.
Any further questions or comments? Well, maybe fortunately, they might not have done that.
Yeah.
There you go. No. Any further questions or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed, the ayes have it, so ordered. Motion to adopt resolution 2026-09 to reimburse the general fund for the River Road Bridge Repair Project expenditures.
Motion.
Second. Questions or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those if any, the ayes have it, so ordered. Motion to award the River Road Bridge Repair Project to Mar Allen Concrete Products in the amount of $523,513.
Motion. Second.
Questions or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those if any, the ayes have it, so ordered. Motion to authorize the township manager to purchase the River Road Bridge repair materials from Contact Engineering Solutions in the amount of $107,973. Moved.
Second.
Questions or comments?
Nice to see this finally coming to an end.
We've been permitting for this project for over 6 years.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those if any, the ayes have it, so ordered. A motion to accept the resignation of police officer Tyler Shrewbridge.
Second.
Questions or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those if any, the ayes have it, so ordered. A motion to approve the road closure request for the St. Marco Society Festival from July 31st to August 2nd. So Luke.
Second.
Questions or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those if any, the ayes have it, so ordered. A motion to authorize the public works superintendent to put the 401 Darby Avenue pickleball court color coding project out to bid.
Motion.
Second.
Questions or comments?
I do have a question. Jared, was it coated once already?
Yeah, just a sealer, black sealer.
Okay.
To preserve the black now until we got
Okay, so now a couple more coats of acrylic.
just the color,
Right.
actual board color.
Okay.
Any further questions or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those if any, the ayes have it, so ordered. A motion to authorize the township manager to put the Muhlenberg Township Fire Rescue Roof and the HVAC replacement project out to bid. So Luke.
Second.
Questions or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those if any, the ayes have it, so ordered. Just quickly to mention in other new business that at the September meeting, We will have a presentation by our financial advisor, regarding the bond issue, that will be supporting for all this stuff, so we'll be here to start that process, in September. So just want to let everyone know that. Any board appointments?
No.
Anyone wants to speak on the second public ownership? Go right ahead.
Just one something upbeat, Yvonne Scalise, 1034 Rivercrest. First, I want to thank you for providing me with my own personal concerts on my screened-in porch from Jim Dietrich Park. I'm really enjoying them on my Friday nights as I drink my drink and then don't have to drive anywhere. But my another question is, I've been reading up for Riverfest. Are they gonna have food like we talked about this last year? Are they gonna have food Friday night? Does
Yes.
everyone know? They are.
Yep. Yeah, it's Friday night and we started to advertise it. It's our 175th anniversary celebration for the community. So our plan is to open up pretty much the whole, river like it is on a Saturday.
Oh,
Yeah.
good.
We're not saying we'll do it every year. We're trying it this year because it is the 10th year at Riverfest and our 175th anniversary. So, yeah, it should be fun.
Okay, and
Look forward to seeing you there.
keep the concerts coming.
There you go. Any other public portion comments? Good, go ahead.
Oh, black and white.
Good, yeah, Director Neil Daniels, just want to publicly thank Chief Hoover, Chief Loco, Mr. Bovek and Mr. Gall for everything that happened at the MCI with the train incident. I put out a couple of emails, but, the way the first responders pulled together and did what they had to do to serve the community was just phenomenal. They did an outstanding job.
Thank you for the comment. All right, so we'll move on to additional statements. Mr. Noble.
Yeah, just say, please be patient. It is our busy season when it comes to complaints, comments and inspections. We will get to you. Just give us, just be patient. You need our time to do our due diligence. Everything, the entire county. Appreciate your patience. Thank you.
Thank you, Joseph.
That's well.
Jerry?
Yeah, just to mirror Jody, I personally would love to thank Commissioner Merkel. He was out in that heat with us and made sure all of our, I mean, there's a list a mile long of people that came to that event to help people that were struggling with poor, life decisions. And, Mr. Merkel was on 61, making sure our first responders had water and heating rates. So I personally want to thank him.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner. Jim?
My son often asks me if I had any superpower in the world, what would it be? I can never really give him an answer, but discussions with Commissioner Osada from the time he became our police liaison was trying to attempt to change human behavior. So that'd be one power I wish I had. No amount of enforcement, no amount of laws are gonna regulate human behavior. The innocent, the good people will follow the rules, and the ones who don't, well, regardless of what you do. I too live in a community where traffic issues are just as bad as they are here. They're the same throughout the entire county. Muhlenberg is no different than any other jurisdiction, whether it's the stop signs, the speeding, traffic lights, the electric bikes, the scooters. It's a predominant problem throughout our area. And with our, we are short now 4 officers, soon 5. We're trying to fill those slots, but with the manpower that we have and the caseload and the workload that our officers have, they do an excellent job. And, I personally am very proud of their work. Can we always do better in some areas? Absolutely. We'll look to try and improve those things. But as it stands now, we're doing everything that we can.
Thank you, Chief. And superpower, one golden retriever, probably not 2.
Well, I lost that battle, so we happy wife, happy life.
Chief.
I'll keep it short. We were busy in the month of June, 183 calls for service with 111 of them occurring in Muhlenberg Township. We stay busy this month as well, so summer months usually take up for us for calls, just given everything else that everyone spoke about shortly. same board, same.
Quickly before we move on to you two, night out.
National Night Out.
Yeah, because that'll be before the next meeting.
August 4th.
August 4th, Kevin's gonna cover it. so.
No,
Jim, go ahead.
I don't have anything to discuss. Our planning commission meeting was last week, so we're pretty clear for the rest of the month, aside from a parks board meeting, which will occur next Wednesday.
Thank you. Commissioner Lasada, you are first.
Yeah, just a lot of discussion about, I'll call it emergency services and just some observations from looking at the monthly reports that I'd like to share with the public, and I know the board's aware of it. First of all, from a police perspective, you never have enough officers to do what you want to do. But I looked at the Trulia report, which is an outside agency that basically looks at the officers' body cams. And to note that when our officers do have interactions with the public or people visiting our township, 100% of them in the month of June were professional in manner. And I know from being the liaison with the police department, their interactions with the public can sometimes be very confrontational. And yet 100% of our officers are very professional when they do interact with the public. So that's a positive thing. The other thing that I want to note is that I've been to, I believe, 4 fire board meetings now. And what I'm learning is this blending of the career firefighters with the volunteers is, I think, working very well. And a lot of that goes to leadership to the fire chief, but I also have to recognize the volunteers and the career firefighters too, because it's not just the leadership. It takes the career firefighters and the volunteers wanting this to work. And it's to the benefit of all the residents for that to work. So I just wanted to recognize today in their reports, those 2 particular groups that I think are very positive things. Absolutely.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner
I don't really have too much to say. I can echo about what you guys did on that day at the train. I mean, I was going there just to see it. And we ended up getting there, and then it went another hour and something that it was gonna be till it got there. So we hung out for a little bit, and then it all started just happening. So, wasn't trying to be a hero or anything. I appreciate you calling it out. You know, you guys are always running into the fire, running into danger. But hey, at least I can get you guys some water, so you're not dropping out too, because you guys are in that uniform. These people are in shorts dropping out. So, and Jeremy, you were leading the front up top there, it was outstanding. So I appreciate you saying something too. So, but outstanding job, guys. I love living here. I love Muhlenberg. I love how you try to protect it. If you have a problems, Rick, we do. Sometimes I can't get out of the river. I have to go down to the next thing because there's so many people there. But I know that you're trying to get down there because I seen a cop car in the middle of 50 freaking cars the other day on River Road. So, I give it to that guy who rolled up in there by himself. All right. So thank you very much for what you do to make it safe. That's what I got. Thank you guys.
Commissioner.
Just to echo what everybody else said, and in this township, we do a really good job, we have really good leadership. And we're always moving in the right direction, there's always gonna be hiccups. But overall, I think it's been a good summer so far, so let's keep it up.
Thank you, Commissioner Lurch.
Commissioner Merkel called me the day of train incident. I was up at scout camp for the week. So I wasn't here, and he texted me and briefed me on what was going on. So I knew better than to give a call down to any of our department heads. Because they would be busy. One thing I do want to tell the public is, after that incident, our police chief, fire chief, Jody, Jeremy and Jim, Commissioner, so you said that there was a meeting, I'll call it a debrief kind of meeting, so that the public is aware that our department heads and our township manager, wanted to look at the incident, kind of gauge the response and come up with some takeaways, evaluate their actions and question if there were things that we could have done more efficiently could we have been prepared better? I mean, and say publicly, I want to make sure that the public understands, this was not a Muhlenberg Township event. You know, this was not our event at all. And yet, you know, we were pulled into the very thick of it. And, you know, the community expects that their local government is going to respond when there are emergencies. So I want to just let the public know that, there were conversations afterwards. And hopefully, you know, there will be some takeaways and things that can be improved upon. Should we, or, you know, not should we, but the next time, that there's a large emergency in the township. So I want to thank our department heads, for having that meeting. I did have a note here about National Night Out, August 4th at Jim Beaver Park. You know, the public is invited, come on out, 6 P.M.
Yes.
6 P.M. Start time. You know, there'll be hot dogs and, is there a dunk tank again, or is there a dunk tank? Okay. I don't know, you know, the kids lined up in the dunk tank and they just want to dunk the SROs, so. They didn't even know who I was, which is fine. So the community, you know, come on out and interact on a one-on-one basis. You know, it's a good chance to meet our officers and first responders and, you know, just have a good time and kind of interact, so, that's all I have to say on that.
Thank you. Thank you guys, you know, they do it each and every day, not just the events that make news, just so everyone does it. They're out every day, 24/7, doing those same things, not just the big events. So, I just can't believe how many fire calls we go on now that I never realized. It seems like since we hired you, we got more, so. But not just them, but seriously, all of our team that don't let these guys out over here too. I mean, Mr. Dunkel is our customer service arm, his whole entire group, because they have to have very tough conversations a lot of times with residents on a day-to-day basis, and Jeremy and Joey in their roles. So we have very, I think, one of the best teams we've ever had in this community. So I want to thank all of you for all the work you're doing, because it's just not the stuff you read in the paper. It happens every day, every hour of what they do, and we greatly appreciate all of that. So thank you. Have a great evening.